Hare Rama. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansham Shri Rupam Chakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Svam Saivam Shakaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Sri Vishakhalvitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavansam Sri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sadhana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna.
I close the door, silence. Okay. Thank you. No, that's okay. Jaya Radha Madhava
Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Munatira Vanachari Munatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Now, Hare Krishna, I stop here because we have some special guests today. We're going to do a nice kirtan with Raka Mataji and Rangini Mataji with their ukulele. Okay, just give us a few minutes and we're going to start. Do you need anything? Do you need anything? Huh? No, I'm just saying, do you need anything for this? Okay, you're settled? Great. He came on time. All right. It did take long anyway, yeah. Very good. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Are you going to join us? Yeah, we have a nice kirtan. Yes. Yes. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Praja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Lakshmana Hanuman, Jaya Sita Lakshmana Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Shri Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya. 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 Hari Bol. Raka ki, Rangini ki. Jaya. Oh, I'm so happy you made it. Thank you. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed hearing this beautiful kirtan with ukulele. Ukulele. Okay. Great. Okay, so we are going to read from Bhagavad-Gita, and we are starting chapter 7. So that's the first verse. We're doing chapter 7. We will do a quick recap. Well, we won't. Prabhupada has done a quick recap of chapter 6. So let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Maya Sakta Mana Partha. Yogam Yunyan Mad Ash Rayaha. Asamshayam Samagramam. Yata Ginas Yasi Tachru Tachrinu, Tachrinu. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Sakta Manapartha Manapartha Yogam Yungam Mat Ashrayaha Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Gnasyasi Tachrinu Sitachanu. Okay, Raka, you do it.
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Mai Asakta Manaparta
Maya Sakta Manapartha
Yogam Yugyam Madashrayaha
Yogam Yugyam Madashrayaha
Asamshayam Samagramam
Asamshayam Samagramam
Yata Gyasya Sitachrino
Yatha Yasya Sitachino. Okay. Just close. Go on. Imagine it's all right. No? Okay, just say it without microphone. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Lord said, Mai to me, Ashakta Manaha, mind attached, Partha, O son of Pritha, Yogam, self-realization, Yungyan, practicing, Mat Ashraya, in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness. Asamshayam, without doubt. Samagram, completely. Mam, me. Yata, how. Gnasyasi, you can know. Tat, that. Shrinu, try to hear. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. It is a little long purport, so I just read the first paragraph and then I do the Mangalacharya prayer, and then we will discuss it together, paragraph by paragraph. Okay? I just do this long chapter and, oh, Hare Krishna. It's a long paragraph. Okay. In this 7th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described here. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. Maybe while I'm doing the prayer, you can look at this paragraph, because when I finish, I'm going to ask you to tell me, what was your understanding of just this first paragraph. We want to make it, as interactive as possible, so we will do a nice discussion. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamska Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Virshabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, we have two nice verses which when in a small group, ladies, when we do discussion, we read these two verses, very nice verses basically about Bhagavad-Gita. It's chapter 18, verses 70 and 71. So we just read that together. Adyeshyate chaya imam dharmeyam samvadam avayuhu jnana yagnena tenaham ishtahasyam iti me matihi. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shirnuyat apiyo naraha sopi mukta suballokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Okay, thank you. So, first verse of chapter 7. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. We did the recitation of the verse. I just read so that I start the discussion. Yeah. But you read it. You read it. No, please. All right. Okay. My ashakta manapartha yogam yangyan mat ashrayaha asamshayam samagramam yata gnasyasi tachranu. I still don't learn. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Okay, so the first paragraph that I read, basically Prabhupada is giving a summary of the whole chapter 7. So, who would you like to tell me what was your understanding? Rangini, do you want to tell me? No. Okay. Okay, Prabhupada, first paragraph, he gives us a very quick summary of the whole chapter, and then second paragraph, he gives us a whole summary of previous chapters. So this chapter 7, he says, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. So Bhakti Yoga is basically described in this chapter. And generally, you know that the first 6 chapters are about other yogas, yeah, and the second 6 chapters are about Bhakti Yoga. So other thing, and talks about Krishna's opulences and how he manifests these opulences is described in chapter 7. Also, the other things which are described are 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna. They are fortunate, and 4 types of people who reject Krishna, which are unfortunate. Right? So now we have a summary of chapter 7. Now, who wants to just reflect back on that? Go.
So you say that in the first paragraph describes what this chapter is all about, and the second paragraph describes what the previous chapter is all about. And so in the first paragraph, I didn't get all the what you say, but
What is the title of the chapter?
knowledge of destiny. So, did you mention about the opulences?
Yeah.
So, it describes that Krishna has very specific opulences, and they are in very stand. And then there's 2 types of people who come to Krishna. There's 4 kinds of people who come to Krishna, and there are 4 kinds of people who will not.
Yeah. 4 who come, 4 types of come. And this will be described later during the chapter. Okay.
I was told that this mic is not. So last time when you were speaking, people can hear you. But when we speak, they can't hear us.
Okay.
So they said if you can speak in the mic,
Okay. So you should have told me. I actually made it long, so we can bring it to you. Well, okay. All right. We can. All right. Okay. No?
Maybe the next time.
Next time. I want you to say, what did you understand about what is chapter 7 all about?
say it in the mic, okay?
Go.
Yeah.
Yes, great.
It's good.
Go.
People get to hear
What if I get it wrong?
It's all right. Doesn't matter.
So in chapter 7, it describes that there are 4 types of people who wouldn't reject God, and 4 types who would. And those who wouldn't reject him, those are the fortunate ones, and those who would are the unfortunate ones.
Great. Thank you. You want to add or something else chapter 7 talks about? About Krishna. Yes? It gives us description of Krishna, all his opulences. So we get to know him through these 6 chapters. The next 7 chapter, but specifically we get to know Krishna. The title is Knowledge of the Absolute. So we get to know him, and also we get to know who reject Krishna, who don't reject Krishna. And they are the fortunate and the unfortunate ones. Well done. Thank you. Okay, so now we read the next paragraph. I'll go halfway through the next paragraph and then we discuss about it. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yoga. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. So my understanding is that now Prabhupada is giving us a summary of the first 6 chapters. So he says that, the second chapter talks about the self, who is the real self, that we're not this body, we are a spirit soul. So basically, it is known as Sankhya Yoga, right? And then chapter 3 is Karma Yoga, yes, and chapter 5 also talks about Karma Yoga, and then chapter 6 is about Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, all the 6, eightfold, yogas. We did talk about it last week. So all different yogas there are mentioned. Jnana Yoga is mentioned mostly afterwards, from 13 onward is Jnana Yoga. But different ways that people can connect to Krishna, to God. But at the end of chapter 6, Krishna says that who is the perfect yogi? He can, a yogi can do all different austerities, all different postures, all different things, But who is the perfect yogi?
Krishna conscious one.
Yes, the Krishna conscious one, the one who focuses, because yogis are very good at, they practice all about, meditation and focusing. But he says that all the different practices you do, if you don't focus on Krishna, and become Krishna conscious, you're not perfect yogi. Yes? So the perfect yogi is the one who focuses on Krishna, or like you said, Krishna conscious one. Very good. So, you want to reflect back? You?
Well, you said quite a bit. Can we keep it like in small bites, so then it's easy for us to reflect back? Is this working?
Yes, it's working.
Okay. Yeah. So use.
Giving summary of previous chapter.
Yeah. If we can keep it in smaller bites, then yeah. So the second chapter you mentioned, it talks about Sankhya Yoga, which talks about what is our true identity, as we are. It tells us that we are spirit soul, part of Krishna. And then chapter 3 describes how we should, what type of actions we should perform, which will be more conducive for the, how we should perform our activities. The best way of performing activities which will not bind us in this world. So that's the third chapter. And did you say what the fourth chapter was?
I didn't. It is not.
Yeah, and then you mentioned about different types of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, all these different steps of yoga. And the best performer of the yoga is the one who is able to fix his mind on Krishna.
Thank you very much. Okay. So it says, just the previous verse, previous sentence, that concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. So, and what is otherwise? Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. So shall I stop here, huh? Let me finish the paragraph and then we go. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmajyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness, yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. Maybe you understand the first sentence. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth because it is partial.
So Prabhupada is saying that if somebody has impersonal realization of the Brahmajyoti or the localized feature of the Lord, the Paramatma realization, that is not a full realization.
Yes.
Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his personal form is missing from the picture.
You want to tell us what is Brahmajyoti realization?
That's the impersonal realization, Krishna's effulgence. Yeah.
And what is Paramatma?
And the Paramatma realization is the Paramatma which Krishna's form which situated in everybody's heart and every atoms, yeah? And between every atoms. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And it says it is partial. Yes? What does that mean? It's not full realization. It's partly. We get to know Krishna, but small part, one part of it. Something is missing. It's not complete. So Krishna has three features. Yes? Rangini, do you know? Brahmajyoti, yes. Paramatma, and what is the third one? We have it at the beginning of the verse. Yeah, it is Krishna, but it is known as, how does the verse start? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Yes. So Bhagavan is the personal feature of Krishna. They're all part of, but Bhagavan, the personal feature contains all the other features. Contains Paramatma and Brahmajyoti. So if we get to know Bhagavan, then we will automatically know impersonal aspect and Paramatma. But if there are some spiritualists who only come as far as knowing Brahmajyoti, mostly Gyanis. There are some spiritualists, mostly yogis, they come as far as knowing Paramatma, but the Bhakti, gets to know Bhagavan, and, it covers the others as well. Do you want to give an example of that, Rangini? Prabhupada gives some analogy about the sun, huh? Do you remember? Okay. the sun. Well, the sunshine is like effulgence of Krishna, yeah, and the sun disk is like the Paramatma, and the sun god is the Bhagavan, yeah, is the person who is in charge of all that. The planet sun. Yeah. Another example Prabhupada gives is like, you look at some mountains from distance and you just, see some very fade, things, you're not sure, what it is, but you kind of see some big thing, right? And then you go a little bit closer, you see more things in the mountain, and you get really close to the mountains, and you see, there are even, trees, people, all that. So that's how we get to know God. Right? Anybody wants to say more? Okay. So different types of yogis, they practice, different yogas, and they get to know different features of God. But the Bhakti yoga brings us to takes directly to Krishna consciousness and automatically knows about Brahmajyoti and Paramatma. Okay. Next paragraph. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. Okay, so now we're talking about Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. How do we practice Krishna consciousness?
Practicing
9
9 processes.
processes. Who knows these 9 processes? Yeah.
Just say some. You know some.
Hold on, I'll have...
There's a verse which describes.
Yes, we actually have. Read from this.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. And the first one is hearing about the glories of the Lord and the Lord. The second one is chanting His glories. The third one is remembering Him. Then the fourth one is serving the Lord's lotus feet. Then the fifth, worshipping the deity. 6, offering obeisances unto the Lord. 7, acting as a Lord's servant. 8, making friends with the Lord. And the 9th, surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. So that's the 9.
Thank you very much. This verse was first spoken by Prahlad Maharaj, in Bhagavad-Gita 7:5-23. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. But here in this verse, Prabhupada particularly talks about Shravanam, hearing. It is the first and the most important devotional service. He says, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, touch Renu, or hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfect Krishna conscious person. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart, puffed up with academic education. So, he's here, Prabhupada here emphasizing on hearing, Shravana. But of course, it's important who we hear from. Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna speaks directly and to us, but also his pure devotee speaks in Bhagavad-Gita as well. So Krishna, we are, by reading Bhagavad-Gita, we are hearing from Krishna and we are hearing from Prabhupada. And why Prabhupada says here, not from non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. What does upstart mean? Who knows? Uh-huh. Huh? Well, upstart normally becomes puffed up. But upstart is kind of, in material sense, it's referred to people who become, they call it new rich. They become rich very quickly, right? For example, suddenly you get, what's the name? Lottery. You win a lottery. But, you haven't been rich before. You don't know, what to do. You become just a show-off. You just, you buy silly things with your money. You do, silly, so you become a show-off. It's basically, new rich show-off. So in a sense of here Prabhupada using, a non-devotee upstart, let's say, and, academic, puffed up academic, education. If somebody might study, and get degree and all that, but, they come to read Bhagavad Gita and they think, oh, that sounds good. It really looks, something, great. But they don't really understand it, but it looks good. They talk about it. They kind of use, they copy, they repeat what it says in Bhagavad Gita, and people say, oh, this person is a philosopher, knows everything, all that. So they use the Bhagavad Gita as a show-off, that I am great philosopher. So that would be a upstart, puffed up academic. Yeah, and they become puffed up. Normally, upstarts do become puffed up. So we must be careful not to hear from this kind of people. And these kind of people do exist, and they even write. They write commentary on Bhagavad Gita, and they use their own speculation. So we have to be very careful. Okay. So let's continue. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. So this process of, which process of understanding Krishna? Which process is that? Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, not other yogas. This Bhakti Yoga is described in these 5 verses of chapter 2. I think we have read 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Actually, the first 2 verses, 17 and 18, we use it for invocation when we study Srimad Bhagavatam. We read these 17 and 18, and the rest, basically, it tells us how bhakti works, what happens when we do bhakti, which is, we read the 9 process of bhakti, but it's basically Shravanam and Kirtanam, actually goes together, right? Shravanam is very important, but it's important, we must do attentive hearing. And for doing attentive hearing, in order to, kirtan comes with that, because when we speak what we heard, it actually proves that we really heard it. And if we know that we have to speak, then our hearing becomes more attentive. If we think that, I'm just here I'm just going to hear, don't have to speak, the mind has the tendency to not be attentive. And that's why I'm forcing you to speak. So it helps us to be attentive. That's why they say the best way of learning is by teaching. I'm speaking on. Well, I was asked to speak, but I do it only because it helps me to learn more. Because I force myself to learn, and I'm not speaking well, I know that, but whatever I know, I say that. It helps me to learn more, but also because I have to speak, so I do a little bit of study. I don't speak well, but with your association, it helps us to understand better. So here, in these 5 verses,